be here, holding space for Catherine this evening, taking her place. It's the 107th Pearl of Wisdom, and it's a very special one. It's about manifesting, manifest. And Mynoo is going to share the 7 hacks to activate your abilities to manifest your desires. Doesn't that sound good? So she's gonna, we're going to learn how to apply each of these hacks to enrich our abilities to manifest what each of us desire on tap, on full flow. So that's what we're in for tonight. And I'm excited to be hosting this call. Let me let a few more people in here. And welcome. Let's see if Mynoo is back. Mynoo, are you back? Hello? Hey, everyone, stay on standby. We'll see what's going on here. I see Mynoo. I'm not sure she's back. So our 107th Pearl of Wisdom, if you've just joined us, it's on manifest. Mynoo's going to be sharing the 7 hacks to activate your abilities to manifest your desires. You're going to learn to apply and use each of these hacks to enrich your abilities to manifest what you desire. And she says it's going to be on tap, so in full flow, in pure flow. So I'm excited about tonight. And Mynoo, would you like to take it from here?
Thank you, Dea. Thank you for hosting. That's really great.
Right. Of course.
Looking forward to the session. Hello, everyone. Yes, looking forward to this session on manifest as a pearl of wisdom. Today's session is just a pure transmission. So it's not something that I have in a logical way prepared for. Just been guided to show up with this pearl of wisdom and allow the divine to communicate through me to you. So manifest itself. Why is manifest a pearl of wisdom? Let's begin with that. The first thing I want to say there is that manifest is a festival of a festival. A festival has got various ingredients that come together for something to be festival. It is festive. There is celebration, there is rejoicing, and there's often a very clear intention of each festival. Some of them are traditional that we have been doing year after year, and others are simply a co-creation. But overall, a festival is, even though the origin may not be a co-creation, it lands up being a co-creation of man in its unisex form, in the sense that it's created by humans. So manifest is a creation by us as humans of something that is festive and worthy of celebration and worthy of collaboratively celebrating something that has come about. And that's an important aspect to understand about manifest itself. It could have been a pearl of wisdom on manifestation, and it wasn't. I don't edit the words when I get them. It was manifest, a fest that has been brought forth by man, humans, which has the qualities of festiveness, and has festivities, has celebrations, has rejoicing, and every aspect and every layer of it is a collaborative co-creation. Now, once we get that is what manifest is, let's now go into the 7 hacks that enable you to manifest your desires. The first hack is desire itself. the desire hack. The desire hack calls you to get up close and personal with what it is that you are desiring. Relating it, linking it to the qualities of manifest. Is that desire manifest worthy? Is this something that will, once it comes into fruition, and even the journey to its fruition is going to be festive? And if it is, if you're not clear about that, are you willing for it to be festive? The moment you take on, I'm willing for something to be festive, it automatically becomes something for you to collaboratively co-create and rejoice in. So once you've gotten that, okay, I'm taking on this desire, it totally is worthy of, a festive celebration. And it doesn't have to be that everything is done, everything that you wish to manifest has a communal feel to it. That's not what I'm saying. It may be one other person, or it may be nature that you are co-creating with. But it literally calls you to examine your desires with the manifest lens on it. The journey to this desire being realized. Am I willing to take on it being a celebration of sorts? Celebration that I'm willing to celebrate with others in my life, that I'm willing to declare and share with others in my life. Is it going to be something that can be anchored as a festival, like an anniversary that I would want to revisit year after year? Now, when I looked at it for myself, and I mean, I consider myself as quite a seasoned manifester, and I use many of these hacks that I'm about to share. I don't believe I actually examine desire as a hack. But as a hack is something that literally shortcuts your way to the end result. End result of manifest is something being fulfilled, or a mission accomplished that is worthy of celebration, and collaboratively rejoicing in its accomplishment. And then when I look at desire with that lens on, and I went back and examined some of the most fulfilling manifestations that I have experienced in my life. And I decided to take 3 of those and examine, with the benefit of hindsight, how the desire as a hack was rolling out for that manifestation, but to be so fulfilling. Now, one of the manifestations was quite early on in my life. I was not in this spiritual awakened journey or anything like that. I was, with this budding entrepreneur. And this was the creation of my first ever business. And what I wanted to do, what my desire was, to create something which would become a business, which would give me the freedom to be my own boss, operate in my way, implementing and rolling out my core values and something that I truly believed in, and something that becomes an iconic brand in the area that I understood. And it's followed and revered by some of the most influential personalities in that area. I was an IT, information technology director at the time. And my only foray into business was through my MBA program, executive MBA program that I was doing. And I thought, okay, here I have some of the most amazing teachers, and it was an executive MBA program. So many of my co-students were business people in their own right, or in major corporate jobs. So I have the most amazing support network and some amazing teachers. So I decided to make this vision as an executive MBA project. So I had 2 years to actually bring it about. But in those 2 years, we were asked to take on 3 projects. So this particular project had 9 months to actually happen. And all it had was an idea. So when I look at the desire, and the desire, examining the desire as, does this desire, is the journey to realizing this desire going to be festive? Is the culmination of all that occurs into the final realization of the desire be akin to a festival that can actually be celebrated and collaboratively rejoiced by many others? I saw that it had every feature of this. And it began with addressing a very important problem that we, as the directors or the heads of information technologies, information communication technologies, in any corporate or in any business had, was we were seen as this technical chiefs that were all about putting a technology in place, regarded as technical propeller heads in our own right. So we were given problems to solve with our technical know-how, but we were not seen as integral to business strategy. That didn't even occur to the C-suite that was running our organizations. And that was painful to watch, because we knew what technology could enable for the business. And because we were developing technology systems for our businesses, we had a very good understanding of the workings of the business and what the overall vision of the business was and how this particular system was going to support the realization of that. We understood that really well. And members of our team understood that in the context of creating a system that can be operated across the organization to provide the necessary data and analyses that would enable the business to accomplish its goals. And yet, we were seen as technical propeller heads. We were not invited to, and even if we attempted to, we were not very welcome in making some very useful, potent business strategy examinations or inputs. They just weren't ignored. So my burning desire with this first business of mine this was in the United Kingdom, was to get, for us who are heading these departments, to get more airtime with our boards and to have a seat on the board. I could also see the advent of the internet happening. We were using it. It wasn't there in our organizations, but we could see the impact that could have. The World Wide Web was an experiment that was going on in the educational establishments in the United Kingdom at the time. And the envisioning of that in the context of business and life was quite huge. I could see that the users of technology are going to take over the systems if we, as CIOs, Chief Information Officers, don't do something about it. And we weren't given the airtime by the boards. So the desire was to actually impact and influence business strategy by being as peers on boards of companies. Now, so I saw that this desire totally had the makings of a manifest, a fest that is brought forth by us as humans and becomes a festival that we celebrate, because we will feel a sense of accomplishment as individuals, professionals in our own right. Businesses will succeed and achieve even greater impact than they were having before. And there would be an ease about it. There would be achieving that within budgets about it. So there will be a celebration that will be warranted there also. And with every system that is linked to business strategy, when that moment of its realization, like, oh, doors are open for business, will be like a festival. Now, as I talk about other hacks, I'm going to unfold the story and what occurred there. But I could see that the first hack was completely applied to this. Within 9 months, we actually had the business up and running. The business was created as an R&D, a research and development network that corporates paid a subscription fee of £14,000 each year for, which was not insignificant. It was quite significant, but it enabled us to do 3 very powerful research and development projects with very specific how-to implementation guides on the ground. And because it was about bridging that gap, in fact, creating a bridge between the technical and the business strategy, and having us alongside board directors to show how this partnership can actually deliver results, meant the media was very interested in what we were doing. There was the gravitas of research underpinning what we were saying. And we were not research analysts. We were actually CIOs in action in our own organizations. So we had 90 of the Times Top 100 CIOs that became members of this organization. All of that occurred within 9 months, actually happened. The business was launched with more than £500,000 of subscription monies in the bank. My board was I had 15 members on my board, and they were amongst the most revered and most respected leaders of British industry at the time. And as a direct impact of that, of what we actually brought forth, I was catapulted to be seen as an industry leader in this area of technology, enabling business strategy. I really was not a leader at that time. I really was someone who had a vision and wanted to bring it forth. And yes, in my own little way, I was a peer of these amazing leaders that were there. But by simply taking it on as an issue, applying the manifest desire hack to bringing it forth, I got catapulted to that particular level. And now here I am hanging out with some of the world's best and most accomplished CIOs that have come together to co-create the bridge. So there you are. One of the characteristics of a festival is there is a co-creation that takes place. That co-creation couldn't have occurred with us collaborating to share our own strategies of implementing what we were doing in our own organizations. It was a collaborative co-creation of coexistence, and every time any one of us achieved success, there was a celebration that took place. And when our first research report came out, that became a festival indeed. 3 years down the line, this particular business was bought out by the Gartner Group, which is again still a very prestigious group. And that was my first ever business. It was an MBA project that actually went on to be manifested in reality. And now you can't even imagine that heads of technology won't be seen to be in the C-suite at a strategic level in business. It's just the norm. That's the first hack. Now, I've given you quite a complicated and elaborate example of my journey in business in implementing this first hack. And if I was to look at how I have applied it in my personal life, when I chose to live an extraordinary life where all aspects of my life coexist, this is that 2010 when I embarked and went to Bali and decided that I was going to find who am I and what am I to do next. And there I chose to live an extraordinary life and all aspects of life coexist with ease, grace, and joy. I totally did not know how to do it. I was out of my comfort zone and physically quite ill at the time. However, taking this on as a desire that is really the manifest desire, where I'm serious about bringing this out. And you can imagine the journey of getting there is going to be festive. It'll have its challenges, like you do. You know, we're coming up to Christmas and we know how we celebrate it, but each year there's a rush to get all the things in place to make it all happen until we get to Christmas Eve. The same thing happens in Diwali. You know, you look forward to it, which is our festival of lights in India. And yet that last week in the run up to it, to when the Diwali festivities begin, there's traffic everywhere. There's rampant pollution in the air, you know, and it still feels festive as we are, you know, going about it. So that choosing, just the choice that I'm now going to live an extraordinary life where all aspects of life coexist, at that point in time, it was as if that had landed and I was in cloud nine, as they would say. It's only when the realization dawned on, okay, so what do I do next? I had no idea. And then it was like, this is not going to feel very festive, you know? So I have to get comfortable with, I don't know. I didn't know how to get comfortable with, I don't know. I made it my business to know everything, but here I didn't even know where to start. So that's when I decided that, okay, if this is to be realized as my desire, I've got to have a structure in place. And I created a structure, which became the 7 pillars. And from those 7 pillars arose the journey to miracles that many of you have done. The journey to miracles is the 7 pillars that enabled me to live this extraordinary life. And it became a fest. It became the entire journey to this festival of celebrating this occurring became a rejoicing one. It was festive. And now many of you here have done the journey to miracles. You embark on the journey, and it is a collaborative co-creation of this next phase of your life. And even as you're doing the journey, almost every day there's something there to celebrate. And it is a festival when we get to the end of it. Because you are now in a whole new realm. You know, there's build up to Christmas, build up to Diwali, and Diwali and the Christmas both. New Year follows straight after that. And that's what happens. And that's what happens in the journey into miracles. That's what happened to me, because that was my journey into miracles that took place. So when you take on something as a desire and you want it to be manifested, look at it through the desire lens of manifest. Make sure that it has all of those ingredients. And if it doesn't, it's okay. You know, you can still, go ahead and realize that the manifest hacks will activate, and mission is accomplished from the moment you embark on that hack. especially when it comes to desire, the moment the desire becomes a manifest hack desire, it is realized. Because the festivities begin and your journey to realizing that desire becomes enriched by these festivities, and you know the festival is imminent, just like it is for us with Christmas or with Diwali. And there are many others that are celebrated around the world in other faiths. It's exactly the same thing. The build-up is festive. The celebration is collaboratively co-created. Even if you choose to just be in your own space, you are in a festive mood when you are in celebrating Christmas or Diwali. I have had many in my journey in Bali for 9 years. There were many Diwalis where I did not necessarily want to interact with anybody. I stayed at home. I stayed in my room even. But even then, it was a collaborative co-creation of celebrations of all that has occurred and manifested that year, creating the foundation and laying the ground for the year that comes, that follows. So the first hack is desire itself. The second hack is envisioning of that desire. There is a way in which, when you are on the manifest journey, there is a way in which your envisioning is to occur as a hack to manifest this. The envisioning hack invokes all of your senses. All of your senses. Your envisioning hack enables you to be able to see this desire manifested. It enables you to see what has occurred. It enables you to see what you look like when you are in the midst of experiencing its realization. So when you envision, and you're using envision as a manifesting hack, you envision the lay of the land as if the desire has already manifested. And you describe it in a full spectrum way. Physically, what's occurred, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, environmentally, every little nuance of what has manifested. And once you have actually described the lay of the land for yourself, now you're going to zoom in using the envision hack, and you're going to zoom in on you standing there right in the midst of all of this that you've just described actually being manifested. And you zoom in and you look at yourself and you look at, well, how do you look like? What do you look like? Even to the extent of the clothes you're wearing. How is your hair done up? Are you standing up? Are you sitting down? Where are you? How are you holding yourself? Like really very, very physical. You're envisioning you physically. You then envision you mentally. What sort of thoughts are going through your mind right now? There you are, this realization has occurred. What are you thinking? What are you feeling emotionally? Really zoom in and look at you. What are you feeling emotionally? How are you expressing those emotions? And as you're expressing yourself, that are you connected to your spirit? How does that connection to your spirit show up What does your spiritedness, the expression of that spiritedness, look like? What kind of an experience does it generate? How are you interacting with people? Your social dynamics. What kind of an environment are you in? What does the realization of your desire have on the environment around you and the environment at large? Now you've got your sensory organs in a full spectrum way activated. You now turn the zoom lens. You're still in the envision hack. You now turn the zoom lens on the world around you, on people that are close to you, people that you are impacting. They are all looking at you. They are all looking and experiencing the realization of your desires. What do they look like? What do they sound like? What sort of words are they using? And, what are they engaged in? How are they feeling? And once you have done that envisioning, do the 9-4-6 breath. Breathe in to the count of 9, hold to the count of 4, breathe out to the count of 6. This breath brings your left brain and your right brain in alignment. You enter a whole brain state. You do this at least 5 times, and you can do it 10 times if you like. You're now in a state of complete stillness. You're in a whole brain state. There is no yes, but, no, but, however, all of that just dissolves. You are in the center, experiencing, tasting, breathing, touching, feeling this desire manifested. And at that point, you give it over to the universe with a question: how much better can it get? Manifestation delivered instantly. And now we go to the third hack. The third hack is the vibration game. Once you've done the envisioning, so you've introduced the qualities of manifest in your desire, number 1 hack. Number 2, you have envisioned it with all your sensory abilities. Now, the only game in town is for you to up-level your vibrations. So this is the hack of vibration games. You enter the vibration games. And those are the only games you play. And you play them every day, as often as you can. So straight after the envisioning is done, you go into the A to Z vibration game. And the A to Z vibration game is a very simple one. You basically declare, share one word that matches that alphabet that you're at. One word of appreciation, of you appreciating the realization of your desire. Start with A, go on to B, go on to C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. You are now buzzing with that vibration, because not only have you envisioned and activated your sensory system, you have now up-leveled and anchored the vibration as an appreciation of this manifestation being realized. You are now ready to move forward and get on with your day, unequivocally knowing that your desire is already manifested. The fourth hack. The vibration game, I've given you one vibration game. If you already have read the B book, you already have my B book available to you. If you don't, then you can go online on Amazon and purchase it. There's a Kindle version, there's an audio version that you can buy. It's called the B book, BE book. There is a whole chapter on vibration games there, and I've given you one. This is the most powerful vibration game straight after Envision. Now, when I look at myself and I look at the Envision and the vibration game together before I talk about the fourth hack, if I look at where Dea, you know, we do this. Before every Pearl of Wisdom, we do this, by the way. You know, we did it just before we opened the waiting rooms today, even the Envision part. Yes. We do this all the time. Now, if I was to share with you an example or a story from my own life, you know, there I am, have chosen, I'm going to live an extraordinary life where all aspects of my life coexist with ease, grace, and joy. At that point, I just thought, all aspects of my life, it is my family, it is my ability to earn money. That's all. I didn't know even that there was any more aspects in that. The ease, grace, and joy was very puzzling and confusing because I had trained myself that you just have to work hard. You know, life's about working hard and then enjoying hard. But if you haven't worked hard, you can't enjoy. You know, it's play hard and work hard is how it was. So this ease thing was, what the hell is that? Joy, yeah, I really did experience joy in those early years with my son. And then it became something that we would do as a project. I don't believe we did anything about joy either. Grace, I had no idea what that meant. It was like, you know, what's this stuff? Hanging around. And grace to me was graceful dancing, you know, and that was it. So there are living an extraordinary life where all aspects of life coexist. When I made the declaration and I was in Bali, I had my eyes closed. It was after a meditation. I felt it in my cells. So when I go into Envision, I'm like, I felt it. And that's what I want to envision having occurred in my life. So I'm like going, okay, there I am, having experienced it. What does that look like? And initially, it was just a checklist of things that I would tick off. Nothing, it was not even similar, not even close to what I had experienced when I made that declaration. So I just kept going. I kept going and started looking at what do I look like? Where am I living? And, you know, and I then start seeing these visions of lush green fields. And I thought, these fields of Bali, like Sting sang in a song, and they weren't fields of Bali. They were fields, and they turned out to be rice fields because few weeks later, I chose to move to Bali. It was like they were tiered, and I saw fireflies. I saw waterfalls. I saw a very comfortable home. I saw lots and lots of people. I saw dancing, which is something I hadn't done since I was 18. And there I was at 49, envisioning this. So the key thing here is to stay with your envisioning and allow that the manifestation of that envisioning to unfold, not losing sight of that. Keep going with it. And as I started doing that, I then started seeing more and more and more. And then I decided that it really does require to be done every day, this envisioning, until that's just the way life occurs. And it is through that that I started to realize there are many, many, many aspects of life. And that experience of introducing that quality of the desire, doing the envisioning in the way I talk about, that is what enabled me to experience it whilst I was there. And I started downloading messages, downloading writings, downloading poetry within a matter of short 3 weeks. The festival was anchored, festivities had begun, and I couldn't make any sense of where this information that I was writing was coming from. So the best I could do was just simply implement it. And it began with desire, it began with envisioning, it began with these vibration games. That is where I started creating the vibration games. And one of the vibration games is the game of when you notice something is totally not at all what you wish to, but what you have envisioned, you unconditionally accept what is and go on to this vibration game, which is about what are the positive aspects of being in this situation. I had envisioned, I had experienced in my vision what I had desired, living an extraordinary life where all aspects of life coexist with ease, with grace, with joy. To bring grace, and by the way, that's what got me started on ecstatic dancing, because I could only think of grace as dancing, as opposed to the divine grace and the divinity in the graceful flow with which you bring forth anything. But doing this vibration game, and I went into what are the positive aspects of being in this situation. One of the positive aspects was like all my troubles are forgotten, they're gone. I'm like, I've become present to that line from the cabaret. Life is a cabaret, my friend. Life is a cabaret. And I was there really being welcomed by this new incarnation of me that was already living an extraordinary life and was holding my hands to bring me forward, to make that journey. In engaging and sometimes even indulging in the festivities, bringing people along, collaboratively co-creating a manifestation of this extraordinary life. And it is that brings me here, doing what I'm doing now, sharing these, beautiful pearls of wisdom with you. The vibration games certainly enable that. There are many games. The B book has many other games in it too. So, work with it. The positive aspects game, I'm not talking about thinking positively. Here, I'm not talking about positive incantations. I'm talking about getting real and in amidst that reality, choosing what are the positive aspects of being in that situation. The fourth hack. The fourth hack is the hack of take the next step next. And it is in taking the next step next that you leapfrog, that you move forward in leaps and bounds. It's when you take a leap, like wanting to shortcut or bypass a number of steps, that you may find yourself in a chasm. Remember, whenever, this is, crossing the chasm, written by someone who I deeply respect and admire, Jeffrey Moore. In the context of business, he talks about when you come up with a product, the product is usually adopted by early adopters to begin with, and it skyrockets in terms of its acceptability, but they are all the early adopters. And then it hits a chasm, and you go into a chasm. The depth and the duration of the chasm depends on your strategies that you put in place to cross the chasm. So in the context of your desires that you wish to manifest, this hack of taking the next step next enables you to navigate the chasm that you will hit. And it's just a usual, like we talk about ups and downs in life are given. Sure, but some people get stuck in the down. And some people get so blinkered in the up that they collapse when even a little bit of the down comes in. But when you take the next step next, you are anchoring the manifestation of that which has already occurred. Your vibration is high. You're envisioning at every step. You're playing the vibration games. You're working in partnership with the universe, allowing it to deliver to you how much better can it get. I do this, and Dea, you've been in my business collective, and you hear me say, even when we do some of the most powerful envisioning exercises for business, I say, what is the logical next step? And I bring in the logical next step because taking the next step next sometimes does take a leap of faith. But I'm not getting you to take a leap of faith and just keep leaping and then find you collapse into a chasm and then you never attempt it again. I bring you back into logical next step. And then you take that next step. And then what's the next step? Logical next step. You take that and you take that and you take that. Each time you're moving from data that starts to unravel or reveal itself to you, that converting the data into information, implementing it, processing it into knowledge, implementing it becoming a wisdom and manifestation, your ability to manifest, becoming your knowing. And as you keep going step by step by step, each of those steps is a baby step. Think about it in the context of a baby. If the baby, when it takes its first step, if it chooses to take the next step as a leap, it collapses flat. And sure, it's a baby step. It picks itself up. But if it keeps collapsing in that way, then it may just give up. But it only takes the next step next. Because a baby operates from a state of knowing. That's just the way they do. This hack is a very important hack, especially for those who are engaged in manifestation, because when you're envisioning, it is sometimes the impossible that you've envisioned. And you're in a rush to get there. And here I am slowing you down, right down, saying, take the next step next. But hey, if you followed these hacks and you've done them step by step, you're in a high vibe. You're in the festivities are already happening. The festival is imminent. You're actually bringing together your collaborators and co-creators as you engage in the festivities. Every step you take, you are savoring the festivities. Every downfall that you may have, every breakdown you have, you are able to, through your envisioning, able to convert that into a breakthrough and take the next step next. You are grounded, you are standing tall, you are anchored, you are in your center of gravity is exactly where it meant to be, your chakras are aligned, you are in full spectrum wellness. Manifestation is inevitable. Every moment becomes a moment of manifestation. You start to experience your desires like literally opening up like these wonderful petals of a flower. When you look at a rosebud, if you didn't know what a rose looked like and all you did was look at a rosebud with the calyx on top of it, you could not envision what it's going to blossom into. And if you try and peel it fast, you don't get a rose out of it. It doesn't look like a rose. But actually, if you just simply take the next step next, and you allow the rose to take its next step next, a beautiful blossoming of something so exquisite, so layered, something that feeds your body, mind, and soul occurs. That is what occurs for you as well. This is a very important hack. Take the next step next. And I am one who has violated this hack in the rush. And I've learned from that. Because the sixth hack I'm about to talk about is the hack of there is no rush. There is no rush. So take the next step next. Let me illustrate that with an example. If we go back to the living an extraordinary life, the personal example that I shared, when I envisioned it, when that desire landed and that's what I wanted to have, I could have gone into, oh yes, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm here in Bali and it's so amazing and it's just great. I'm living this extraordinary life. And okay, where can I go to experience this extraordinary life even more? Oh, I can go to the waterfall. I could have done all of that. And it would have been a great holiday. And I would have had extraordinary experiences. But would the living of my life become a festival of aliveness? It wouldn't have. I would have had that moment in time, come back to London 3 weeks later, and the reality of all that needed to continuously be done would land. And then one day, someday in the future, I would plan another holiday to Bali. Well, that is not what I had desired. That is not what I had envisioned. I wanted to manifest living this extraordinary life, where all aspects of my life coexist with ease, grace, and joy. So using this hack, I decided to take the next step next. And the next step was to create an action plan for me. Because being the serial entrepreneur, converting ideas into business, I knew just having an idea and envisioning it did not make it real. It became a business when I got into implementation. So taking the next step next required an action plan. I didn't even know where to start. All I had was the vision of this idea. But I didn't know what to do on the ground. So what action can I take? So the next step next was to make that choice and become a consultant to myself. Just like I would consult with other entrepreneurs who were converting their ideas and wanted to make it real, I've decided my next step is to become a consultant to myself, to convert this idea into reality. Okay, I made that choice and a decision. And then the next step after that was to have the ideation to reality brainstorm, just like I would do when I was advising an entrepreneur. So I took that step and did that ideation exercise where I did a brainstorm of everything that I had ever done in my life and anything I had ever done in my life that made me feel good. And decided, so I did that, wrote that down, one on each sheet of paper. with the intention that if I did these things that I write down every single day, I'll live an extraordinary life. Well, I did it as a brainstorm, an ideation brainstorm. So I wrote 49 things. It was not practical to do 49 things every day. It just wouldn't happen. Then I took the next step next, which is I decided to prioritize. And this time, use some of my newfound skills of meditation as a way of interrupting my pattern, my logical pattern, and going into a very deep state within myself, and then choosing the 7 things. So I went into that meditation. So you see, when you take the next step next, you are implementing, you are solidifying your resolve about what it is that you desire. And because you're in implementation, the universe partnership becomes a very powerful one, because it knows that you don't just talk, you actually mean action. So you're utilizing your human form, you are plugged into the spirit of you are operating from your spiritedness, implementing, then rising up, taking that next step, so you don't have to fall. And if you do fall, it's not a very big one. You can lift yourself up again. So I took the next step next, and out emerged the seven things that I was going to do. And they became my 7 pillars of living an extraordinary life. Then I chose to take the next step next, which is I created a time segment every single day. And it was a 10-minute time segment where I would tick off these 7 things that I had done that day. Now, because I was going to tick off in that time segment the 7 things I had done that day, meant that when I woke up in the morning, I was already in action, implementing, living an extraordinary life, where all aspects of my life coexist. And lo and behold, the opening of that rosebud started to occur. The calyx dropped, the petals started opening, and I started seeing all these different aspects of life. I had the opening of the third eye, started seeing, my seeing ability got anchored. And I started envisioning a world where I'm able to share how anybody and everybody can live an extraordinary life. The 7th hack. So there is no rush basically meant taking the next step next, I was able to remain in a creation mode. The 7th hack is count your blessings and stay in a state of bliss. And that's self-explanatory. At any point in time, it is a most powerful hack. You can interrupt your pattern like that, on tap or with a click of a finger, with a blink of an eye. Right now, I'm going to count my blessings. There we are, talking to each other, talking about manifestation, and my voice is flowing nicely. The technology is working well. You're all receiving hacks that you can easily implement. Oh, I feel so blessed. Anybody and everybody, you can interrupt your day. You can just choose any moment to start counting your blessings. The moment you count your blessings, you're in a state of bliss. Manifestation is on tap, and it lands as a knowing. Take the next week before we get to the 808th Pearl of Wisdom. That's our festival, by the way. That's what we've been building up to. And you have been engaged in the festivities leading up to that. Over to you, Dea. I know we are a little bit over time. But
oh my goodness. Well, the 7th one, count your blessings, is like I love that because I go there all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and just it completely changes it like that. So I love that you added that in as like a complete on its own hack. So I don't know, that was so much goodness, so many ways for us to stay in that pure vibration and that frequency. But when you said manifest, the festival of man, that just it just made me smile. And just to feel into that every time we choose to manifest or envision, wow. And then everything else that went along with it, it just build it on each other. And there's so many jewels right here that we can play with. So I'm excited to play. I hope all of you feel the same way. And yeah, thank you, Mynoo. It just keeps getting better.
I know. How much better can it get?
How much better can it get? That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone. I declare our session complete.